Hello there. Thought I would do a Loom with me while I'm making more chickens. Might as well make chickens while the chicken getting is good. So if you haven't seen it already, here's my first one I made. I totally love her. She's sitting on a nest. I was going to do something here. I wasn't sure what. And then when I saw this, I was like, oh, wait, a nest. So yeah, that's how she turned out. I used a little bit of the scrubby yarn kind of stuff for her comb. Kind of cool. And then I made this one. And I was like, oh, this isn't turning out like I want it to. And then I realized her head is back in her wing. She's trying to fall asleep there. She, he, whatever. And then there's the comb getting all funky-dory with it. So I thought that was pretty cool. So we are going to do a baby one and see how that works. I do have wicker baskets I can put them into. I even thought about making some eggs, which you can make with this and just, ball it up kind of thing. There's a lot of things you can do. So I'm just going to make a family right now, get it done and over with, and put them in the baskets and see how they go. I got back with went to urgent care this morning because I wanted my left knee from my injury to be looked at. And that particular place can only be seen workers' comp one time. Well, my knee didn't act up until later, so now it's under the medical assignment person, which I emailed, and they're going to have them contact me and go from there. But yeah, it's only a one-time deal. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So I waited. I was there 8:45, got out a little after 10, wasted all that time for him to come in there and say, guess what? We legally can't see you but one time when it comes to workers' comp. Now, I didn't ask, it was like one time per case, so if I were to fall on my right side, can I see him again because it's a different comp case, or is it just comp in general? So, yeah, anyway. Didn't ask, didn't know, whatever. We'll get it taken care of. It's not like dire that I need to go anywhere and get it checked out. It's just starting to catch and breaking apart. It's what your body does. So then I did a little tour. I was going to show where the burn was, and I still have that video. I'm not sure if it's going to go up or not. I wanted to go to the casino, but too many people were walking around. I didn't want to get distracted with a camera. You see one casino, you see them all. It was just mainly to see how close the burn got. So we got that taken care of. I ordered some Rise coffee, if you guys have ever seen that. It's the mushroom coffee. It's supposed to help you fall asleep. Everybody's raving about it. My coworker's husband is doing it. So it is a subscription service, so careful when you go on that site. The introductory price, and they had a bunch of free stuff. So I think I paid $29 for this one coming. And then September 1st, they'll send another one. It's like $36. But I'm going to cancel, when it's well on its way, because there's no point in doing that. It has about, I want to say 20 servings for this one. As it is, I take trazodone 100 milligrams, and I'll take it at 6 to go to bed at 8. It doesn't even touch me. Mufasa's got the zoomies. So yeah, I do have an Helo appointment, which means it's online with one of my therapists. What's it called? It's not emotional. But anyway, I don't have ADHD. I wasn't diagnosed with one, but I'm trying to get some sort of meds to help me concentrate better, because I get scatterbrained all the time and it's affecting work. And you don't like being called into the office 500 times because you can't remember certain steps and you're not looking at the manual, which are the desk procedures, which tell you what to do. You think you know what you're doing, but then you skip a step and it causes a big issue. So we have to go back to the kindergarten and read the manual somehow. I don't know why. I need a break from that place, and so that's why I took 2 weeks off. And, just to reset and get things organized and clear my mind or do something. It was just so stressful that my brain just, it's hard to explain what I do. So I don't know if I did that in another video, but it's a big job. It's a lot of important steps, lot of backups too to, you know, check and see what's going on and all that stuff. So it's not the same. I just got burnout and just too much going on. There's too many little details and gets you frazzled, and it takes me longer to work on things and concentrate. I don't like a lot of office noise. You can't stop that from happening, so I got to deal with that. So that's what I'm going to go see. Behavioral therapist. That one. So we're going to go back to the meds that I had before to try to make me concentrate and, you know, follow through on things. Even in my house, you know, if I say go into the kitchen and clean up, do the dishes, whatever, pretty soon I'll find something that'll distract me somewhere else. I know I'm distracted, but I can't seem to get back onto task. So I don't know why I stopped the meds. I just did. Maybe it was because my brain was changing and I didn't like what it was changing and whatever. So, but I can't continue the way I am, so I got to do something. And then I had a sleep study over a year ago. The first part, if you guys have ever had one, they put probes on your hair. They put little greasy things on your head, you know, and they stick the pads all over your head and then your arms and all the places to get all the, you know, whatever, the points of, all the points of interest. I don't know what they call those things. Your heart rate and all that kind of stuff. So they did that once, and I have a moderate sleep apnea. Well, now I just made the second appointment, and my insurance covers it, but the first appointment cost me $396. I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. You know, I can afford another $300 the next time I do the second one. Well, now it's $800 and somewhat because it has to do with the oxygen. I'm like, holy Toledo. But it doesn't affect my work as far as me taking time off of work. I come home at 5, and I have to check in there at 7 to go to bed about 9. And the first time they said, you know, they didn't tell me I can bring in my phone. Well, I brought my phone anyway, but laptop or a book or any kind of comfort to help you go to sleep. I'm like, wow, by the time I get there and do all the paperwork and all that kind of stuff, I'm going to want to go to bed. So they said any meds you take before you get there. They suggest don't take any meds that will affect your sleep because that's not your true sleep. So that makes sense. And I heard that there's a new device. It's not the mask. It's something else, and I haven't been able to get my finger on what it is. Is it just the nose cannula? Or what is this so-called device? It's better than a big old mask. So yeah, anyway, that's the route there, and that appointment is in October, so that's going to be a minute. Planted my cold crops, did a video on that. Got my carrots popping up. We'll see how much we have. I really want to grow carrots. I love carrots, but they come out scrawny and gross, and I'm not the type to sit there and have to put a whole mess of amendments in there. I've got worm castings, so we'll see, and fertilizer and all that stuff. So we shall see. I got a couple of garlics that are coming up late. They just were popped in there. I'm like, well, you can just stay there. If you're growing this good right now, then you can stay there, and when it gets colder, then I'll take them out and see what I got. Pepper plant's doing good because I have containers of oil. If you use cooking oil off the shelf, it doesn't matter if it's canola or sunflower, olive oil. It doesn't matter if it's used. They will be attracted to that. And you just take, what I do is take a little cat food can, wet cat food can when it's empty, and then fill it a quarter way up, bury it in the soil to where all the soil's around the edge, and they fall in, but they get attracted to it so easily. So that's a big lifesaver there. Trying to catch my mole vole. The trap went off, but it didn't catch anything, so I'm going to reset that. I've never been able to catch it, and I've been after it for like 2 years. And they say that, you know, whenever you find the whole collapsed part of it, put that trap there so when they come back to try to open it up, it'll get them. Nope. Twice the trap went off, and I didn't catch anything. I'm like, oh, that's so frustrating. I'll have to use poison, but just have to keep the cats out because I don't want them to catch them and do it that way. Here's another one. Debating how big to make this little baby. I can about that big. And it tucks up like that. It's going to be a thin one. I'll do more. Okay, yeah. I like how this stitch goes. This stitch is too open, but if you get into this stitch, see how much tighter. You'll see it when I do more, but I like the stitch. It's easy. You just lay it over and take the bottom and put it over the top. It just goes way fast. So yeah, we're still going to be in the 80s, the 90s. I'm hoping to go back to work with a fresh mind and a fresh everything. I think it's just that my brain is too overworked and too overwhelmed with how we have to do the particular job. There's a lot of details. You have to read through emails to see what you have to do and programs and all this other stuff. And I think my brain just reached a limit of, yeah, I know what I'm doing, but I don't know why I did it. So yeah. Sure, they don't miss me. They can deal with it. They got 3 people, my main backup and then supervisor and another person. So they have plenty of people that do that program. And that's the only part that I keep messing up. And I know that I know it. And they know that I know it. And why I skip a step, I don't know. But I have to read the binder to get my brain into that. Read every single step, even though you think you know it and you know it. Read it anyway, so your brain is used to doing that step. But that's the only issue I have so far. Yeah. Pretty sad. And having a learning disability, I don't think they see that. They don't recognize that. There's no... I was hired under LEAP, which is a learning education program or something like that, advancement program. And you go into the LEAP and you do an application for the state, and it just asks you strange questions like, have you ever worked a copier? Have you ever worked a typewriter? Have you ever worked this? Have you done filing? What kind of this did you do? Simple little questions. And that's all it is. And then I just got hired off of there, which should have been in my file, but the gal at personnel office says they don't keep those files for 20 years. And I tried to explain to her it's how I got hired. It should be one of those packets. So I'm going to have to go look and see if it is in my file, and she just doesn't realize it's there. And then wait for the people for workers' comp to call me. Because if you go into your doctor when you first hurt yourself, and mine was my left shoulder, and then my knee hurt afterwards, if you don't say all the things that hurt at that first visit, then they'll deny it. Because you may have fallen on your wrist, your elbow, your shoulder, and only your shoulder hurts. So they're going to deny the elbow and the wrist because you didn't talk to the doctor about it. Well, now my knee hurts, and it's past due as far as, you can't go back into the doctor. So you've got to wait for your medical exam person who's assigned to you. They do it via Zoom and telemed. So they do it that, and you're like, yep, it started hurting on the 21st and started clicking, and I can feel it because I have a full right knee replacement, and I know all the signs and symptoms and all this stuff from that. So I'll have to see when they assign somebody and they contact me. I'll have to let them know. But I made notes about it. We shall see what they say. It sucks getting old. Take care of your body. If you ever fall down and you get a scratch, just keep everything, take care of it, or any kind of bad injury like clicking or something, and because it doesn't go backwards, it doesn't get better without intervention, and that alone is very hard to get. Going through all the doctors, the visits, the ice, the ibuprofen, the x-rays, the CTs, the da-da-da before surgery comes about. If I can go back, I would go back for my right knee. And I would exercise it more before scar tissue. Because scar tissue built up faster than anybody anticipated, so they went in there to clear it out, and it still came back. And the physical therapy that we have here sucks, and I'm glad it's no longer here. And we have one at our hospital, but I haven't been able to get in there because people don't get back to you. Speaking of hospital, our hospital up here has more negative than positive. If you were to go around town and say, do you have negative or positive about our hospital, they'd say negative. So they did this little campaign on Facebook, and they said, we are looking for people who, I Trust Banner, which is the name. And so all the comments underneath, 99% of them were all negative. Oh, this person cut that hospital. One person said that it was a cap off their lung and they broke it off, so they had to go over to Renown. Somebody else said something else. So it's true that if you have certain situations that you're going to see them for, they're good. But other than that, if it's something advanced, they're not good. So they said, well, if you want to be part of this I Trust Banner, contact this email address. And I did that last week. Nothing. So it's like, oh, well, you guys have more negative than you have positive. And personally, why would you go out and ask for people, that they trust Banner? Why would you have to ask? If I like Banner, I've been there when I was eating some vegetables I got at one of the supermarkets years ago, and I chewed on I want to say the broccoli stem or a pepper stem, something that had the little fuzzy fur thorns on it, and it swelled my tongue up. My tongue was as big as my mouth. It came out, and underneath your tongue you're going to have little, I don't know what they call them. They call them something, but it's pieces of skin. They look like little fins that come out. So weird. I was playing with that. I was like, woohoo! So I drove myself to the ER. They had a guy that was cardiac issues ahead of me. They couldn't find anything, so they got me. They did the epi and the Benadryl and all that kind of stuff, and I was good. The only thing I didn't like about that is they kept me longer than I should. I was absolutely fine. They had the BP on me and everything else. And I was like, come on, you're zapping me for my money when I'm just sitting here. I'm absolutely fine. The swelling went down. I can talk, da-da-da. And I understand you have to stay there to be monitored, but there's only so much that you should stay there for. So I finally took off the BP of my finger, and it got their attention that the alarm went off. And they came in, and I said, yep, we're done. I'm good. You don't need to keep me here any longer. So certain things that you have, they're good for. Other things, not so much. I've never had to have a real emergency for them. But yeah, if somebody's doing a good job, I have written them letters to say, hey, I wanted to let you know I really appreciate it when I came in there for this reason. And, the staff was friendly, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you shouldn't have to ask people for their positive opinion. So yeah, the fact that she never got back to me yet. Banners, there's something broken down there. Something severely broken down. So anyway, I don't know if it's the doctors that don't know how to do certain events or whatever, but yeah. Now, the one time I was sitting in a waiting room, I had to have blood tests done, and they had this new system to where you grab this little disc. It's like those fancy restaurants where it buzzes when your table's ready. It's one of those. So when it buzzed, you had to go up to the reception area and let them know, hey, it's going off, it's my turn. So we did that, but then me and two other people were just sitting there, and like, wow, what's going on? There's no communication. What it was is one guy, the only guy that could do blood, was on duty, and he had, ER cases, which overrode us, which I understand. But there was no communication at the window when you checked in. Just so you know, we only have one doctor here, and he's the only one who could do the blood draw, and we've got 5 emergency cases ahead of you guys, and nothing. So I happened to see the advertisement in the waiting room of, you know, want to talk to the CEO of Banner, blah, blah, blah. And I went ahead and texted him. And he texted me back while I was sitting there, and I told the other two. I said, yeah, that's pretty cool. So, don't know what came of it. There's something broken down at Banner. I do have a directives, which is, you know, something happens, you know, who to contact, what to do. So I have one of those with them. My brother signed it as a witness. So yeah, okay. So here's a chicken. Doesn't it look like a chicken? Yes, it looks like a chicken. All right, so we are just going to simply seal one end. Do not pull it like you would a hat, because you would make a hat. So let's see how small of a chicken I can make this. I know what it is about chickens, but you can see the two different ones I did. This one's tighter, so this one will look good, and it goes faster too. One's an E-wrap. The pearl, I didn't do the pearl because pearl's like go underneath and above and over and all that other stuff I didn't do. So, and all I'm doing is a simple, sounds like a mailman, simple little wrap here. And then you just have to stuff it, and then you just shape it the way you want it. Once in a while I'm going to go this. I'm just going to tie it in a knot just to keep it going. So yeah, I'm going to sit around, wait for my appointment in a few hours. I'm going to go I have to get some creamer. Oh no, I don't, because I just did the milk. I have plenty of milk. Never mind. Save myself trouble. Ran out of that. Let me go find some more. Oh, my goodness. Ah. Come on. I hate dropping things. Drop, drop, drop. All I do is drop things. Which they said it might be part of the calcification of the brain. I'm like, that neurologist didn't know his left from his right foot. And I didn't want to see him again because he had a very thick accent I could barely understand. He didn't answer my question about where is it in the brain. Does it control reading? Does it control comprehension? You know, and I think they don't want to do that because they don't want people to take advantage and go, oh, well, the neurologist said it has to do with this, that, and the other. Here's an excuse. So, I just want to know how to control what I've got going on and start fresh and get a new lease on life. Otherwise, it's just negative Nancy all the time. It's very hard. I don't have a lot of confidence whatsoever. All right. Oh, come on, lock it. There we go. So I do that. I know where you came from. Do that. All right, so now we have a pocket. And all we're going to do is stuff it with polyfill. And then we'll kind of shape it and go from there. See, it doesn't even look like a chicken anymore. Can make that the head, but and then just kind of round it off like that. I don't know. We'll see when we get there. Just stuff it full. Let me get this stitch going. So what I want to do is tie a knot. So I have an anchor point. It's gonna be really, really stuffed. Went to Goodwill on the way back from the doctor. Didn't see anything I liked. I was looking, polyfill, they had a, some polyfill bag, and it was half the price. It was like $6.99, and today was green color, and that was green, but I'm like, no, I have this huge bag. Let's see where this goes. I don't need to keep buying stuff. I was trying to find some more eyelash yarn, too. They didn't have any of that, and if they did, it was with other stuff I don't need. And I found a new bag of eyelash yarn, so... once in a while, I will put in a knot. So this morning, I was listening to the police scanner, and one of the female officers was doing a traffic stop on a vehicle, and they gave dispatch the plate number, and it came back to one kind of vehicle, and the officer's like, confirm it's, you know, this plate number. Says, yes, it is, and she repeated it. Well, it came back to a totally different vehicle. And they said, well, what's the last four of the VIN? I didn't know what came of that. But the officer's like, no, it's coming back to a gold, say, Yukon. And the license plate came back to, say, a Chevy Dodge or something. Chevy Dodge, that makes sense. You know what I mean. So anyway, cops were asking, hey, where is she? Because she never gave her location. So they started merging in. They detained one, because that's kind of funky. And I don't know what came of it, so be interesting to know what came of it. Hopefully I have enough just to finish this last one. So. Yep, a lot of unsavory characters around here lately. Alright, this. So, when you get this formed, let me put you down here. Okay. You gotta just kind of look at it and go, huh, where's the chicken face here? You know, is this... Because you're going to be putting the, I can put this as the body, as the nesting material. So, is this a little chicken? If you pinch in the middle, which you'll do, you can make this the head. I can stuff some more stuff in there and make that the head. You don't have to close it all the time either. Oop. See, I dropped things. Oh gosh. Always dropping things. It's not good. Yep, this came undone. Alright. Well, that's okay. That will tell me what I want to do here. Just kind of play with it. And ask yourself what looks like the head. And you can kind of put more stuff in there to make it look like the head that you want. If you pinch down the back a little bit, there's the tail. That looks like the head right there. Okay. So once you make your decision, stuff the head really good, because you're going to put a little, you're going to take the yarn and put it around the head and make it more of a head shape. That's what I'm doing anyway. Go. Now let me get this yarn and close it up again. Come on. Oh, there goes the mailman. He's got some mailboxes down on the other side, and then he goes over to this group of homes down the road, and he comes back about 15 minutes later. Alright, so that's going to be the head. As ugly as the head's going to be. So then I take, knot it. Cut the right one, not the wrong one. And just make a few loops. Just seal it off. Doesn't even look like a chicken head anymore. Can make it that way. That looks better now. As a chicken head. See, there's different things you can do. Just kind of have to mess with it. That looks like the body. And then make that little tail kind of thing. Yeah, I'll make this the head. Okay, well, I just pulled that out. It's awesome. That's why you got to make sure you have what you want. And I can put the comb down here. Decisions. I'll let you guys go because it's going to take me a minute to find out what I want to do. So maybe you'll see it later on if I come on live. And I'm just going to go ahead and deal with this here. So thanks for joining me. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.